everybody, it's Tracy from Create. I'm so glad you could join me again for another art prompt. This one is about stressors. It's a super stressful time. I feel like people right now are having extra stress on top of the stress that they normally have on a day-to-day basis. So we're going to work today on how to manage the stresses and not have those stressors frankly eat you alive. So grab some paper. I've got my handy tablet and an art supply that feels good for you. Right now I've got some markers, some crayons, some colored pencils. Whatever one feels the best for you is calling to you today. I think I'm actually going to use colored pencils, and if you've been doing these prompts with me, you'll say, colored pencils, Tracy, don't you usually use markers? I know. Shaking it up a little. So grab whatever color is calling to you. I think I'm going to use this nice bright green. And holding your paper vertically, draw a little picture of yourself with your arms up in the air like this. Now remember, as is often the case with these projects, this is about getting your feelings out on paper. It's not about a final product. It's not about being perfect. It's really just getting your feelings out on the paper. So here's a little drawing of me as a person. And so grab another color. You're more than welcome to pause this and make this drawing of yourself as detailed as you like. So what I'd love you to do is draw yourself holding some boxes that are your stresses. So let's make those boxes different sizes. So for example, if the stress of your school or job is really large, make that a really, really big box. If right now it's not that big, but it's a little bit of a stress, make it a tiny box. And then some other things on there. So it could be stressors of family, could be stress about health, could be stress about the worries of others, could be stress in your neighborhood, about money, about not seeing your friends and loved ones. But you're gonna put some boxes around of different stressors that you have right now in your life. And then take a moment to just go label the boxes. So, for example, if, like I was mentioning, there's a stress about money, there's a stress about friends, one about work or school, one about taking care of other people, right now it's really strange not to be out and about in the community, so I think a lot about just my neighborhood and being out and about and the stressors of both being out and about and of not being out and about. And just the stress of, frankly, being at home all the time. It's very weird to just be home all the time. So those are some of the stressors that I have right now on my image. Oops, I forgot a box. This sounds like a funny one, but the stress of having pets around me all the time. They're really not used to having humans around all the time, and they don't quite know what to do with me. So now that I've got all my stressors down, take a look at your image and see what you notice. See what ones are larger, see what ones are smaller, what ones seem to get in your way the most. It could be that a stress that maybe just by name seems like it should be the biggest is actually pretty manageable, and one that just by name seems like it might not be that big of a deal is really a big deal right now. So I know one problem I keep hearing about from many people is that right now their sleep is really disrupted, and I forgot to put that on there. So that's definitely a stress for me. Just getting the right amount of sleep, and enough sleep. I can't even tell you how many people are telling me that they're having coronavirus dreams right now. So if your sleep is getting disrupted, you are not alone, and so that is definitely a stressor that's on my list. So, and now that we've got those stressors all labeled, I did mine with images. You can do it with words, however you like. And we've looked at what those are. Put a dot, just for your own purposes, of the thing that's stressing you out the most. There might be two. And then, grabbing whatever other color you like, around yourself down here, draw some supports. So maybe it's friends, maybe it's family, maybe it's coworkers or classmates, maybe it's teachers or neighbors, family that's near or far, friends that are near or far. Maybe it's somebody you speak with online, maybe it's somebody that you know from school but not all that well and you've connected more now that you're far away, or somebody from work that's the same way. Maybe it's a book or a movie. Maybe it's a certain activity you do during the day, like a comfy blanket you can put around, or a dog whose ears you can scratch. Just put some supports that you have, and they can be, like I said, people or not people, just anything that's a support to you during your time of stress. If possible, include at least a couple people, but it doesn't have to be. Okay, so for me, I've got some family and friends here. I've got a cat. I've got a tree for getting outside in nature, my cup of tea, and a good book. So those are all some supports that I have for my stressors. The other thing I would say that I did not include on here, and I'm going to add right now, is a good hot shower. I mean, after a cold, windy day like today, I feel like, oh, there's nothing better than that. So I'm going to add my hot shower in there. All right. And so now that you've added the support into your image, I don't know about you, but my stressors seem a little lighter. They're just not as heavy when I've got these supports around. And that's the goal of this, to help it seem like something that's a little bit more manageable. So if you think about your supports, are there any of those stressors that you can offload? Any of those supports that can take on some of those burdens? Meaning, if I curl up with my book, maybe some of those stressors don't go away, but they might seem more manageable. If I sit for a second, have a cup of tea, take a couple deep breaths, just really be present with my tea, I can stop and think about how I might want to manage those stressors and instead of having them just taking over my life. If I get out for a walk, if I'm in nature, that's probably going to help calm me down too. On the other hand, there may be some people that can help me out with some things too. So maybe running an errand, or helping to make sure other people are healthy, checking in on other folks, things like that. Maybe some people to share the costs of things, or to check in if you're somebody who's home trying to do schoolwork, to see if somebody else is stuck on the same homework problem that you're stuck on too, or the same work task. So any of those things to offload some of those stressors. So the last thing I want you to notice is, of those people that are on there, or pets, or other connections in some way, who can you reach out to at least once a day in some way to just connect with, so that you're not having to carry this burden every day? It might not even be to talk about the things that are stressing you, but just to make a connection every day. So if that person is not already on this list of supports, add that person in. So this way you've got a little roadmap. Again, maybe not necessarily taking care of all the stressors completely, but so that you're not alone and you can weather the storms a little easier. The last thing I would ask you to add is, in whatever color you want, a little heart somewhere. So I think I'm going to choose this purple. And the reason why I'm having you add a heart, and there it is right there, add a heart to make sure that you're giving yourself some compassion. This is a very, very strange and stressful time. And so it's really easy to get consumed with the stressors and not remember that it's a really weird time. And so please, 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 when you look at that heart, remember to be kind to yourself. This is such a weird time. We have not had to weather this storm before. So this is new. This can be really scary and stressful, and you're not alone. And the more you can be compassionate to yourself, the easier those stresses will be to weather. So I wish you lots of luck. Please leave me a comment and let me know what kind of strategies that you've come up with for your stressors. And I would be willing to bet that you'll see some other comments on strategies people are using too. I hope you come back again for another art prompt, and I wish you all the best. Thanks for tuning in to Create. Have a good day. Take care.